Eventually, they were hiring new guards at my job, and my supervisor at the time trusted me to train others. And I wish that had came with a check, or I was wise enough to have gotten my F80. But I also acknowledged the level of unpaid responsibilities and free labors that the supervisors had to endure, and I truly didn't care for all of that either. I'll just serve my God-given purpose through the position I searched and obtained until further notice. Thank you. They ended up hiring a woman who I'll call her sis because she certainly and effortlessly earned that title, as she also reminded me of an older version of myself at the time. She was such a sweetheart, and I would soon find out that she was a turnt little firecracker too. I'm not gonna lie. Given the circumstances, of course, I trained her, both the right and consciously cautious way, because we weren't paid or safe enough in that place, in my opinion at least, especially being a woman. Now, we might have had a little more weight on us than some women and was about that life, but we were still short and guarding grown and aggressive ass men. The fact that they would let me roam alone spoke volumes on both their and my behalf, though, okay? I'm just saying. Pay attention. And I also appreciate them trusting me to hold down the fort. But anyways, me and sis would eventually be the head honchos of the shift and was sought after by some of the OGs they had in there too. Just because we worked there and they lived there didn't mean that they were nobodies. I'll just say that. So much so, there were literally levels to that shit. They couldn't even get bedded safely on a certain floor if they weren't like the others. For real, it was crazy. If they got bedded and sent to a certain floor on their bullshit, they got sent back to us looking crazy. And given their predicament and lifestyles, they weren't snitching. They took those ass whoopings like a champ, yo. But we knew what it was. They probably went up there trying to run it, or probably was a careless addict thinking they was about to fill the air with some BS and got packed up quick. I'm not gonna lie though, that was my favorite floor. They was on all bullshit and kept it clean. Some was fly as hell, just paroled there and had to get their living circumstances together. I respect it. We would do rounds and they be playing the good music, you hear me? Just some gangsters and cordial misfits chilling, listening to a blend of rap and R&B. Nothing to see here. I'm not gonna lie though, some of those guys held us down better than some of the supervisors. I remember this one older man in a wheelchair used to be so hyped when we came through because we didn't do the most, but we did our jobs and would lighten the energy. Even we knew the difference that we made when we came through. That man named us the 357 bitches though. Yo, while that would seem disrespectful to many, and I totally get it, trust, okay? Because not many people would be able to get away with that. Listen, his old ass meant it from the most genuine part of his soul, and we totally understood, and overstood the concept. We held down the fort and were nothing to play with. We were a mess, and we knew it too. One thing about sis, I give it to her. Like I said, she was a firecracker, and she may have had her own battles like anyone else in this world. You know, like she was a mother of a few, I believe 3, 4. And she always made it her business to make it to work. Rain, hail, sleet, snow. She didn't care, you know, and no matter what was going on in her world, she would always make herself available, emotionally at least, you know, and she was emotionally intelligent. So she knew when something was off. Like I said, she was a mother. So she knew when something was off. She knew when things were going right. She knew if you needed to talk. She knew if you were, harboring some emotions that needed to be spewed out, because a lot of us ran around acting like superheroes, acting like we were invincible, especially with the job that we had. We always had to have this poker face on, we would pretty much guarding some of the most dangerous men in New York City. So we wouldn't really tap into our emotions much. We would save that for home. But she always provided a safe space for me at the workplace, and vice versa. Like I said, that's sis. And she earned that title effortlessly, okay? Even with our age difference, we were inseparable. And I loved her so, so very much. I would even go in the kitchen and get like oranges, and I would squeeze the oranges because they would have so many leftover fruits. And if they weren't going to eat them, they were just going to go to waste. I would take the oranges and peel them and make us like homemade orange juices while we could very well go across the bridge and go and get some food or something. It was just something about that homemade orange juice that I would make. We had another coworker. He would always go to the fish market and bring back fish and make homemade fish in the ovens there. And I used to be excited when he would too, because he would always put the pickled jalapenos inside, and I be tearing those up out the can. He already knew. He had extra jalapenos. He would put them to the side for me. Like, we were really one big functional and dysfunctional family, and I truly appreciated that. Now, another thing with me and sis, I truly appreciated her for is because she was aware of the situation with me and Bonkers, well aware of our relationship, and eventually many had become aware because she worked right across the way. So at this point, I really couldn't get rid of her. And at that time, I really wasn't trying to anymore. You know, things were actually going okay until it wasn't again. But I truly appreciated having someone like sis at the job, because she would always joke with me, being that they were the same zodiac signs, but she was a realist and knew how that zodiac sign was stereotyped to give it up. And I'm not going to lie, some of the characteristics definitely ring true. Now, that's one thing about me. I love me a realist, okay? Keep it a buck, no matter what. So, yeah, I appreciate her because she knew how to compartmentalize the way that I did, but of course, a little better because she was a grown woman. And at that time, I was in my early 20s, about 24. So I was still a firecracker myself, and I probably didn't fix that until my 30s. Yeah, not even probably, most certainly. She knew when to be a friend, a coworker, put on that nurturing mother cape. She was every woman at this point, you know, and she had been. So I was teaching her the ropes as far as the workplace. She was teaching me the ropes as far as adulthood, and I appreciate that so very, very much. Even if I didn't take heed to a lot of her advice at the time, it definitely stuck with me. I love her so much, and I truly do wish that I had a lot more time with sis, because we only were able to be friends for about a good 4 years. Yeah, the last I spoke to her, she was supposed to have gone out of state to go see me where I lived. It never got to happen. She passed away around her birthday, actually, of 2020. And yeah, this was 2016 that I'm talking about right now. So yeah, man. Yeah. I miss you, sis. I love you. I'm not about to make us all emotional here, but I do want to say, in loving memory of my sis and some family members and some of those that you may know that have succumbed to this darkness that we were bombarded by, I just want to say COVID K, COVID K, COVID K.